What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike. I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I'm joined by two men that are flashier than Grady Dick's jacket at the NBA draft. They are, of course, your friend and mine, Joe Day and EP Eric Pahowick. How you doing, boys?
I've never been called flashy before. But
flashy.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the jacket?
I didn't.
I will.
Is there a draft?
I'm going to throw the picture up here for the.
Oh, he's throwing it up.
All right.
Oh, it's a special occasion when Mike's throwing something up.
There's a player, Grady Dick. He was drafted by the Raptors, number 13 overall, and you have to see the Topps Now card of him. They must have posed there at the draft, but he had this like red sequin jacket on and like Elton John kind of like I thought he was like a new version of Elton John. Like he looked like 70s Elton John. It was fantastic. Such a good look. But yeah,
it sounds
I'm hip to the NBA draft. I'm sorry you guys aren't quite as hip as I am, but yeah, I mean, look at me. Look at that nice
You look hip as hell right there.
Yeah. That's me. What's going on, guys? How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good. So originally we were supposed to start recording this thing about an hour ago around 9 a.m. And at that point I was like, I can't drink a beer that early. No. And then we drug on. I got a beer. It's a breakfast beer, but I'm going to crack that open. It's been a little while since I drank a beer on the pod. There we go. And I can't drink alone. My friend EP, I think, has a beer as well.
Yeah.
What are you drinking, buddy?
I have some of this Nutrio Broken Heels hazy IPA.
I like a hazy. This is from Rusty Rail, actually. This is the waffle breakfast one. Ooh. So a little breakfast beer. I asked Rob, I go, can you give me something breakfasty? And he goes, what do you mean? I go, like a beer that tastes like breakfast. He goes, oh, I thought you wanted like bacon or something. I go, yeah, could you fry up some bacon? Rob, fry up some bacon, bring it in.
There's always room for bacon.
Right? Exactly. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, well, to everybody watching, they think you just start drinking at 7:00 on Monday morning anyway. So it doesn't matter.
That's true. Yeah, that's live. That's just a tape delay for us on those when we drop those on Monday mornings.
EP, are you gonna buy the Fanatics Under Wraps autographed jersey boxes that are coming out?
0.0% chance. I'd have no.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Nope, 0.0. I said.
I heard percent chance. Yeah. $450. You get random autographed baseball jersey.
Yeah. Did you see the size of the checklist? No, negative. If it was just the players on the thing, that even then, like on the box, whatever. Yeah. Like Chris Bryant is on there, which no offense to Chris Bryant, but I mean the other guys are all like baseball superstars. But if you get a Chris Bryant out of that for $450, like you're gonna be disappointed. Like for $450,
Chris Bryant have a moment where he was though. So.
Chris Bryant, he was like a rookie of the year. I think he was a rookie of the year. I think he won MVP, and I think he won a championship.
Just glazed over.
He's a great player, but he just doesn't have the juice that he doesn't have the juice of the other guys. The other guys like Acuna and Alonso, and
he doesn't have $450 juice.
Right,
is what you're saying.
I believe. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but he doesn't feel like it based on my sales of his cards for the cards I've been.
I feel like you should spend some of that Drew Jones money.
Yeah, spend the Drew Jones money. Crack one for the channel. Send me the receipt. I'll think about expensing it for you.
Oh yeah,
checks in the mail. Yeah. Joe, are you going to buy the PBA Leaf cards?
I pre-ordered. It's already pre-ordered.
Okay,
it's PB pre-ordered. I'm in. Yes. Getting a case. No,
those are I heard they're the next PMGs, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Next PMGs.
PBA.
I'll tell you what, joke all you want, but Brian Gray, man, he finds those niche markets. I mean,
they'll do well.
Yes,
they will do well. Absolutely.
Yep. Because people love the bowlers and the Allen and Ginter and the different the different weird sets. Like people.
I know nothing about bowling, but who's the star bowler that had
that one dude is like a total badass?
Yeah, and
he just doing
did
crazy
the autograph inscription that was so popular. So
okay.
I'm sure that'll find a market. It's pretty cool. I like when companies do out of the box kind of things like that. So I'm the guy. I'm not getting bowlers out of Allen and Ginter, but when I'm at the card shop and I'm going through the old Allen and Ginter, I'm pulling out like Wee Man and Tony Hawk and like all the political figures. Like I think those are really cool cards. So
is Leaf the new Pacific? just doing kind of weird things outside the box, not afraid to take a chance. I mean, they're not doing as cool stuff as Pacific, but it's different. They're definitely doing more different stuff than any other company.
Definitely
I love that Mike Tyson card that I got.
The Mike Tyson card. I mean, it's not as good as the Brian Gray card, but it's Superman Brian Gray, but it's not bad.
Well, they sold out so fast. I didn't have a chance to get that. Plus, I was expecting it to be a gift, but you never loaded that up for me. So, yeah. Well, I'd love to stay here and chit chat with you guys, but we have business to get to this week because we started Monday too. I don't even know when it started, but we were just one story after another. And I'm like, how are we going to fit all this in? So we're going to have to get to it, I guess. So let's start off with our old buddies over at Topps. I'm a big Fanatics fan, a big fan of Michael Rubin. And well, you remember a little while ago, we talked about there being a Babe Ruth cut autograph 101 that was probably not signed by Babe Ruth. Mm-hmm. They're at it again. This time it's a Lucille Ball that was pulled, a cut 101 autograph pulled out of 2023 Heritage. There was a collector in Wisconsin who bought the pack. First of all, this guy took a hammering on Twitter, I think kind of unfairly, because he said he picked up the pack and he could see it said love on top of the pack. And he called his son over and said, look at this. We should probably buy this one. So they bought it, and it had this love Lucille Ball.
Why is he taking a hammer? I mean, I know why he took a hammering.
Well, he's taking a hammering because people are saying he was searching packs. I'm sorry. When you have a card like that and you put it's right on the top of the pack. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to be able to figure out there's something a little different about that pack. So I don't blame the collector. I don't think he was there going through everything looking for this card. I think he was randomly there, picked up a pack, and knew that there was something in it. Anybody out there that tells me that if you knew that card was in there and you're not going to buy it, you're lying.
Right. You're so full of crap. Yeah. Because people used to walk scales over to the card section and start weighing stuff. Like,
I've seen photos of people doing it still. Yeah.
Chill out.
But yeah, this person posted the picture of it and the story on Twitter, and then you had the idiots that started hammering the guy. But that was not it. You also had Steve Grad, who is the autograph expert on Pawn Stars and also the head of Beckett's authentication. He used to work for PSA DNA before he left to go to Beckett, and he saw a picture of it and said that, that's one of the secretary signed Lucy autographs. That's a very well-known version of it. So main story here is not about the poor collector, not about Steve Grab, but here we are again with Topps putting another cut autograph in that wasn't really signed by the person it's supposed to be. What are we doing here?
Why don't they have an autograph expert on hand? Do they just pick up a piece of paper, see it says, like, I'm just going to start writing like random people's names on pieces of paper, send it to Topps and say, here, put these in your products. I mean, are they trying to authenticate these at all before they go out?
Don't you picture a guy like walking around the flea market and the guy going, oh yeah, this is real. Yeah. Like, oh, okay, $20. Sure. Here you go.
I picture more of they have a guy and they go see that guy and he's like, oh, I got some autos for you. Like,
I got some stuff.
It's like back. I got you. Don't worry. He opens up a case and got a bunch of autos in there.
Got it for you.
Yep.
Yeah. I got a thing. I got that stuff you were looking for.
Just crazy.
I got that Desi Arnaz. Next there's going to be a Desi Arnaz auto in there. I mean, how do they not have
COAs in the back?
Right.
He's like Ken Golden in the scoreboard. Anyway,
how do they not have an expert on hand? Like, that's blowing my mind.
Point.
Call Fanatics a big boy company, right? Well, this is not stuff that a big boy company does. A big boy company would go and authenticate these. Maybe they should go out and buy Beckett just to get an authentication department.
Or hire that guy at least.
Or hire that guy. Like,
hire someone Steve Brad, yeah.
And it doesn't even take much to look at it. Like, we were talking about George Pickens.
That guy knew instantly,
right,
when he saw the picture that it wasn't real.
I mean, I think I'm better at it because I found an Isaiah Spiller auto on a George Pickens card a couple of weeks ago. I mean, if I can do that, I'm curious how people over Fanatics and Topps can't figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, autos, like what we've talked about, there are just way too many autos in products as it is. But when you're talking about these one of ones of Babe Ruth and Lucille Ball and like all the crazy ones that they have of all the historic figures and stuff like Allen and Ginter and everything, like you gotta have like you gotta be better about it. Like I mean, these are the chase card in your product. Like you gotta be better about it.
And if you want to grow the hobby, you're not going to grow it if you lose consumer confidence in the big hits being real or not. Like, again, this is within 6 months, the second time that they've had a high profile autograph that has been said to not be real. Plus, then you don't come out and make any kind of comment or statement about it. Like, again, talk about them being a big boy company. I expect way more from Michael Rubin and Fanatics when something like this happens. You tell me if you have a problem with like the hats you're selling or the jerseys you're selling that you're just going to let it go. Like, don't treat our hobby like an afterthought. If there's an issue, if there's a problem, if there's a screw up, don't just let it go away. Don't talk about it. We'll worry about the next thing that comes out. Like, address it. Give people some kind of confidence that you're going to fix it if you make a mistake. Like, how are you going to grow the hobby if you're going to lose the people that are in the hobby because they don't trust what you're doing?
You think the people at Topps are like, don't say anything. This happens all the time. People will still buy our product. Just keep your mouth shut. People will still buy our stuff because card collectors cannot not buy product. So we're fine. It'll be fine. People will forget about this in a week, in a month, whatever, until the next one. Then they might bring it up again. But until then, keep your mouth shut and they'll keep buying the baseball cards because they can't stop themselves. This comes down to the collectors a little bit too. I mean, you can bitch and moan as much as you want about these autos not being authentic, but then, okay, stop buying the product. No one's going to stop buying the product. So what's going to happen? Nothing's going to change unless people actually make a concerted effort to push for change.
Well, I had a card shop that I went through a couple times when people stopped buying the product. So if you keep screwing stuff up over and over and over again, eventually that's going to happen. I'm not going to say it's going to happen just because of this, but like, you can't losing consumer confidence in what you're putting out there. Like, what thrill is it now if you pull another cut auto? Anybody that has known any of these stories that have happened, next one that they pull out, you're going to go, wonder if this is real. Like, I bet you have a lot of people that might send it to Beckett to find out, or send it to PSA to make sure that it's real. Like, you shouldn't have to get a card, we talked about this before, that you pull out of a pack that says it's authentic from the company that put it in the pack. You shouldn't have to get it authenticated, and it should never come back as not authentic. But here we are. This is 2023. And I just, Michael Rubin doesn't do podcasts like ours. He doesn't do a lot of sports card one, but he does a lot of like culture kind of podcasts, and he acts hip and stuff, and they talk about cards. I wish one of these podcasters that have him on, like a Bill Simmons or the other ones, the bigger ones that he'll go on, would take a minute and ask him about some of the problems and how you're going to change them or make it better. Like, it really bothers me that they just don't say anything about it.
It's throne sniffing. I mean, if he's going to be on their podcast, they're going to kiss his ass. He's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to go on like sports card radio. Like, come on. If he went on, that would be fantastic. If he went on Jeff Wilson's show, do you think Jeff Wilson's really going to press him on issues? Come on.
No, because he wants them to make another card of him.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So like, he's never going to get pressed on any of this stuff that happens. And, maybe it seems like, oh, it's just one thing. It's just, no, they start adding up. They start adding up real quick.
My thought when I saw this, the 101, and I want to get you guys' take on this. Like, for me, like, when I'm opening product like this, if I would open a product like this, that I would sell that card like right away. That'd be one of the ones I would list right away and sell. But as an eBay seller, we shouldn't have to send something away to get it authenticated. We out of the pack, it should be authenticated. So like, as a seller, would it be bad of me to list this card and sell it? Like, what's my responsibility as somebody who's opening a case of cards and listing it?
Well, if you don't know any better, I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean,
sure, but I mean,
like now, if you listed that card as the guy did, oh, I found this pack with my son, whatever, and someone said that's not real, I don't know what the. I mean, hopefully it's like the Babe Ruth thing. It's like the Panini. We were talking about some of their autos a few weeks ago. Like, hopefully they make it right so you don't have to make that decision. But at this point, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you would do. I mean, I would still put it up there, but I would say this is a really well known card because it's fake and it's a big media thing. So buy it. It's like the Honus Wagner that's trimmed. It's like it's more valuable because of the story, right? So I'm sure that card still has value. Sure, I mean people buy 101 memorabilia cards that aren't real memorabilia. So what's any different than a 101 Lucille Ball auto that's not a Lucille Ball auto? What's the difference?
Well, and also like I realize that it's won't be authenticated by PSA and Beckett or whatever, but like if the thing is it's considered by probably a lot of people in like the collectibles industry as a Lucille Ball autograph, right? So what I mean, what is? I mean, again, we should be upset that they're not getting the real autographs, but if there are a lot of people that consider it to be a real Lucille Ball or real Babe Ruth autograph, even though it's signed by the secretary, like what is I don't know. I don't know more my points.
Call it like the secretarial signatures. Like make it its own insert or something, right?
I guess, yeah.
Don't call it an authentic Lucille Ball auto, even though maybe legally it is because whoever signed it maybe had power of attorney, whatever. But if you know for a fact that it's not actually signed by her or Babe Ruth, as it were, like you can't call them authentic signatures. You just can't.
Yeah, well, maybe we're entering the era of manufactured signatures too. So
Dak Prescott was way ahead of his time.
He definitely was, yeah. Well, the sad part of the story is too that the person that pulled it, because of all the negative attention that he got, he had just kind of gotten back into cards, and now he said he's probably going to take a break. So
never go on card Twitter when you first start, man.
Never go on card Twitter. Period. I mean, that's. Like, why would they attack him because it's Twitter?
Right.
We brush over that. I didn't bring my point up. Like what is card Twitter? Like what are you doing? Like just because the dude saw it on the pack, like you assume that he's searching all the packs. Like not everybody's as awful as you. Stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop it. Yep.
And again, like if you pick up a pack that has cards in it or the one that has that in it, instantly. We've all opened packs,
right.
Open a box that the one big hit. The pack is like twice as big.
Right.
It's rigid. Like it's not like you had to really dig in and try to do anything. If you pull that pack out, if you find it at the store, why wouldn't you buy it? I'm buying it.
Everyone that commented is buying it.
Right. Exactly.
Everyone who commented is buying it.
They're ticked off because they weren't the ones that found it.
Right.
Because they weren't in there. They didn't pull the pack.
Yep.
All right. Well, speaking of buying autographs, I don't know if you guys saw, but Fanatics did their Topps Now draft night packs during the NBA draft the other night with, Victor Wembanyama autographs in them. Who would have thought? They actually... I think there were 388 total sold. They ran a Dutch auction. Here we go with the damn Dutch auction crap. But started at 4,000, ended up at 1,500. They were selling, you would get a pack. Each pack would have an autograph from Victor Wembanyama in it. And they could be numbered anywhere from a 1/1 up to, I believe, 99 or something like that. I
thought it was like 199.
199? Okay.
199, I thought, yeah.
And then the of 1, of 5, and of 10s are all inscribed. So, but they sold a total of 388 packs and 388 autographs and made over $600,000 in revenue on that. I know that, Michael Rubin has talked before about wanting to have an experience where you're watching a game and you can pick up your phone and you can make a bet and you can order a jersey and you can buy a card. This is kind of the first example of them doing that. I mean, I'm not against doing stuff like this during the draft. I think it's kind of a interesting way to do it, but you know, I'm a little worried about all the autograph cards they're just selling of him. Like, you don't even have to go buy a pack. You just buy the autograph. I'm a little worried that maybe going forward, this might be the business model. Let's make money off the autographs by selling the cards individually and maybe not worry so much about packs. Am I wrong?
Well, we talked a couple, like, was it last week even, maybe we talked about the number of autos that Mike Trout has out there too.
Mhm.
Like, you're going to talk about, like, super oversaturation of this player who hasn't even stepped on the NBA court yet. So that's mind blowing to me. $600,000 to just say quickly that people are apparently into it. We're not in Kansas anymore. This isn't our hobby anymore, right? Like, if people are spending $600,000 on, like, draft night for a player that just got drafted, like, this is a crazy situation.
Spending a minimum of $1,500 for an autograph, too. A minimum. Some people might have spent $3 or $4.
Right. Well, I think at one point it did get before, according to
it started at $4 and ended up at $1,500. Okay. The floor was $1,000, but it ended up selling out at $1,500. So the cheapest anybody got it for was $1,500 for an autograph of a player who has not played a game yet.
My bold prediction: Victor Wembanyama will have more autographs than any other player ever by the time he's done playing. Like,
if he plays long enough.
If he plays long enough, right? Yeah. If he totally flames out, but let's just say he will
definitely have more rookie card autographs, like rookie year autographs.
Oh my gosh!
Anybody, and he's not even in the company's product. That's making the basketball card.
And we talked about this a few weeks ago. The NBA insider, I'm not going to try and butcher his name, that was talking about Fanatics had this big NBA news, and we were all kind of wondering, is this it? Is this what we're assuming this is it then? Like, because we kind of went back and forth whether it was going to be an actual NBA product. They got the license somehow.
Didn't he say specifically they were going to be making a Topps basketball though?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because this has no logos on it, right? This is just the players on draft day. It doesn't have NBA logos, doesn't have team logos or anything like that. I mean, and people are shelling out a minimum of $1,500 to get these, and it cracks me up. Again, you've got the 199 auto, you probably got the 149 auto, you've got the 99 auto, the 40, and they're all the same card, probably just a slightly different foiling or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get the inscription ones are cooler for sure. I get that, but it's like, again, it's this whole manufactured scarcity we talked about last week. You're just making he signed, like, say 500 autos, but you're saying these X amount are way more rare because they've got a different color foil on them. Come on now. It's just ridiculous.
Blows my mind. Like, it really does. Yeah. Hopefully one of them he inscribed "You're an idiot" on it. So
you paid great. What for this?
I don't know, but definitely Fanatics have hitched their wagon to Victor Wembanyama. Like,
he's there. I just watched Air by your recommendation, Mike, which is very good, by the way. But he's their Nike going after Jordan at this point, right? Like, he's their showcase, So it's going to be interesting if he's not the greatest player since LeBron James, his rookie year. It's going to be very interesting to see how that goes.
I mean, this is a little bit tangential. That doesn't have to do with this specifically, but I mean, like, if he works out and then Ellie De La Cruz is working out in baseball, and then if this Connor Bedard, the hockey potential hockey superstar that's coming out like next year or whatever, like, if this happens, like, we're looking at, like, the next generation of great players, which is kind of cool.
Kenny Pickett, obviously.
I'm sorry, Kenny Pickett. I'm sorry about that, Joe. Yeah, Kenny Pickett. I didn't say the football because I forgot him. He's the football guy. So but anyhow, like, those
right here.
It's an exciting time to
one of the guys on those cards is really good.
Bert Emanuel. Mike finally admitted it.
I don't know what that is. Sorry.
It's an exciting time to be. It's all right. It's all right. It's an exciting time to be in the hobby if they, especially if these guys all work out. I just don't like the amount of money that's changing hands, and then there's definitely like shitty stuff going on. But I mean, it's exciting to think about getting these guys rookie cards going forward.
I mean, and to be fair to this product, I'm not someone who opens up a lot of product. I don't open up product, right? So this is kind of up my alley a little bit. Like if they did this for the NFL draft and it was Kenny Pickett, you could get a guaranteed Kenny Pickett auto. I know he's not the number 1 overall pick. I know, but like that you had that option to just buy, because that's what I do. I don't open up packs. I just buy what I want. So if someone really wants a Wembanyama autograph card, okay, sure. I mean, I think it's $1,500 to potentially get an inscribed one. At a minimum, $1,500 is a little ridiculous. But still, I mean, you're going out and getting your card instead of buying a case of Bowman U Inception, hoping to get a Wembanyama card, right? I mean, what's the difference? It's the chase versus just buying the thing up front. There's still a little bit of a chase because you could get one of those lower number ones, but you're at least getting the auto that you absolutely want.
And I'm sure these will probably sell for more than $1,500 once they're in people's hands anyway. Like, yeah, it is kind of amazing how, Fanatics, who doesn't have an NBA license, completely is dominating the upcoming basketball card space. Like, I saw a tweet from somebody who said that Panini did not have any presence, no social media tweeting or anything on social media during the NBA draft. And while Fanatics, who doesn't have the license, is out here like running this big auction, Dutch auction, selling the
printing money,
like printing money. Absolutely. Great way to put it. So yeah, like I don't know. Maybe something's up with the basketball cards. I don't know, but it is a little crazy how they're able to dominate.
Or they're just proving they don't need the license. Right. They're just proving they don't need the license.
They're just going to bet on the players and take the best players out of it and not need the license until they get it.
Exactly.
Maybe they'll do it with that kid in hockey too. I don't know. Sign him to an exclusive deal. That's possible. And then they can dominate the hockey market before there are any hockey cards that come out. Wow.
One of the crazy things about this is, have you guys seen Victor Wembanyama at all?
I saw highlights like last summer and whatever that was.
I just saw the picture of him and Michael Rubin, like me and you, when we stand next to each other.
He's like 7'4", which is like a toothpick. And there's a lot of people. There are some people, not a lot of people, who are saying like he's going to be pushed around a lot in the NBA, and like he can shoot. Like he's a very skillful basketball player.
Wasn't that a knock on Kevin Durant too?
Well, there's always knocks on players. Like there's knocks on Steph Curry. He's not going to be able to make it. He ended up absolutely.
Give me knowing basketball things. Slim Reaper, Kevin Durant.
Wow. And Steph Curry changed the game. So, I mean, he very well could be, but also, I mean, you never know. But to spend $1,500 and more on a player who is not taking a step.
Have you seen the cost of Justin Herbert rookie autos?
It's true, yeah.
Like, what are we talking about, EP? $1,500 seems like a steal.
At least Herbert has done something on the NFL football.
No, this is before he did stuff. EP, oh, really? Come on now. Yes. His rookie cards before he was even named the starter were through the roof, as were Joe Burrow's before he actually took the field. I mean, that's just how it is. That's just how it is.
Well, poor Justin Herbert takes a lot of drive-bys on this podcast.
He does.
Deserve it.
I mean, for a guy that's won 7 Super Bowls, I don't know why. All right. Well, more Fanatics and Topps news that may be affecting your local card shop. It was leaked this week, the rules that Fanatics and Topps have in place for the hobby shops that will be buying direct from them. Just a general overview, they have to be a brick and mortar business with 4 walls. So it can't be an online seller. You can't be a kiosk seller, I guess. You can't sell the cards online. You can only sell them in the shop. The dealers can't break online. They're allowed to do breaks in store, but they can't sell them or do them online. They cannot sell to other businesses, which is interesting. And they must have a dedicated area for the Topps product in their store. A bunch of other little things. I saw Paul Lesko, our friend on Twitter too. He also said that in the terms that the card shops are responsible for the shipping. So if anything happens during the shipping, that too bad for them. So interesting. Don't know where you want to start here, but kind of feels to me like Fanatics knows how they want to sell the cards, and they're going to make sure that they eliminate as much competition as possible. They're selling it direct to buyers online. They're having their own breaks online. So they're going to try to make sure that they cut out as much of that as they can. Now, I do want to say, like, breaker accounts are different than card shop accounts. So they're like, it's not like they won't be selling
What if you're
any
both?
breakers. But
do you have to get two
I
separate?
believe they have two separate
taps on the
accounts.
head?
Like, I
Okay.
think they already do. They have different accounts for breakers than they do for actual shops. But any of the shops, they're making sure aren't going to be a direct competition online to Fanatics.
And isn't there also like a cleanliness rule in there too, or something? Like your shop they could randomly come in and inspect.
Oh yeah, I would have failed that.
I was just gonna say, like, you're literally taking away the best part about card shops. They want all of them to be, I always compared your shop, Mike, to like the local record store, like kind of, I don't want to say dingy because it wasn't dingy, but it was like
piled
like
with stuff everywhere.
Right. It was like it was like going to a dive bar versus going to an Applebee's bar, right? Like you wanted something, authentic. So I don't know. The thing about not being able to sell stuff online, that's Upper Deck has done that too from some of the breakers I've seen online that also have card shops. Like Upper Deck won't let them sell that product online. You have to actually call the shop, pay for it over the phone, or go to the shop and do it. So, and the like Layton's of the world, I'm guessing they'll have two separate, they'll have the shop part, because I believe they do have a brick and mortar shop as well down in Florida. And then they have the online presence. But yeah, they're making sure they weed out any potential competition for Fanatics breaking, right? That's the takeaway. I mean, they want to make sure that they have first and foremost breaking customers, which again, always break with Fanatics. That's not me shilling. That's me saying, don't waste your money because they're going to have juice boxes.
Don't be dumb.
Yeah, it would be dumb. But yeah, I mean, it really does seem like they're trying to push their product, which smart. Is anyone going to say no? Are any of the card shops going to say, all right, we're out of the Fanatics Topps business, I guess?
Yeah, no.
They're going to kowtow to the rules.
I have so many thoughts about this. So if I go off on a tangents, please excuse me. But
that's what we love about you. The viewers love your tangents.
The viewers love the tangents.
One of the rules
they have 2023 Topps baseball somehow. And it's going to go back in 2012.
Back in 2012.
Here we go.
So, like, one of the rules they have is that your shop has to be open at least 7 hours, 6 days a week, or 8 hours, 5 days a week. Like they
would cut into our golf time, Mike. I just got to say,
they're putting in these rules. So my thinking is like this: you better be getting a darn good deal, like $1,000 off a $3,000 case, something like that. This deal for this product needs to be that good. If it's not that good, then I can see a lot of people actually going to do it. They're just probably going to get their cards the way they've been getting them. From other people. So,
but they're cutting out distributors too. So how are they like really?
There's going to be no third-party distributors at all.
I don't know, but that's the rumors that have been going around. And didn't they already drop that GTS? So
I'm not sure about that. I mean, so they're going to have to I guess you're just going to buy them off their website and get what you can, and that's it. I mean, that's probably
buy them at a ridiculous markup. I'm guessing they're going to charge you what we're used to being charged on the secondary market, right?
Right. But they're going to have to buy them from blowout cards, then mark them up $5-10 and make almost no money off of it. But I mean, I saw at least one headline where somebody said, "Oh, card shops are going to be gone in 2 years," or something like that. And I'm like, just pump your brakes, man. Like, just relax. Like this hobby survived an awful long time through an awful lot of crap. I believe the card shops are going to survive. The good card shops are probably going to survive. So
and people aren't going into card shops just to buy product. People go into card shops to go through bargain boxes. Like Mike, you go to the LCS out in your neck of the woods. How often do you buy boxes of cards?
Here and there, not very
here
often.
And there, right? Like I think the card shops aren't dead. I think that they will be handicapped quite a bit, by this. Definitely. But I don't think they're going to die, because a lot of the reason people go into a local card shop is to go through those bargain boxes, is to pick up singles, is to pick up supplies. So I think I mean, I think they'll be fine in that aspect, but it's definitely going to be a hindrance not being able to have product and not being able to, break product however they've been doing it in the past as well.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger card shops won't be affected by this, I don't think at all, because they
probably do all the things that they're or they already do them anyway.
Yeah, right. The smaller card shops, although like a lot of the smaller card shops don't have direct accounts with Topps anyway. So it'll like I think about like John over in Montoursville. There's a card shop, Yukon Cards and Comics, close to us here. I'm pretty sure he just buys from a distributor. So like if they cut out distributors, I don't know what happens to him, like how he gets product. I know he does buy some like through his comic distributors too. I don't know if Topps will be cutting that out. So, for a guy like that, like I do wonder how he's going to get product, but like it's difficult for a smaller store already to buy direct from Topps. So I don't know. They're probably not going to have a huge.
You never bought direct, did you, Mike? Did you ever buy direct from anyone? No.
Back when I had my shop, like
Topps
had a lot. Yeah, it was tough to get in with Topps, especially. And then you had to buy everything that they put out and had to buy it in certain quantities. So just would not have been, something that would have been financially feasible for me to do, being a little card shop in a little town. But like, especially though, if you can't sell it online or sell it to other businesses, that really limits. So, they're I think they're eliminating a lot of the smaller shops, because what do you do then? Like, that's really, as somebody who had a card shop, I can't imagine, okay, you have 3 cases of this Topps baseball, but I can only sell a case. So what am I supposed to do with the other 2 if I can't sell it online, if I can't sell it to a business? Like, what am I supposed to do with all the product then?
Right.
I can't move it. I have money tied up into it, and now I'm not going to be able to pay my bills, and I'm going to go out of business. Like,
you can't sell it online, you can't break it online, you can break it in the shop, I guess, but what's that even mean? Like, you have to have like 32 people sitting in front of you as you open up a case of cards. I mean, it's so like they want the Burbanks card shops of the world, and that's it. They don't want John's shop.
I know, right? And that's a shame.
And it really is. And that's why I was most interested in listening to your perspective, Mike, because you were in this situation. Like, if you were still open today,
you'd be screwed.
You'd be screwed. Like, what would you even do? I mean, that's what's so frustrating about those great little card shops that we all prefer.
Mm-hmm. Would you, Mike, at the height? Let's say that at the height of Mike's Upper Deck, would you have been able to put together a break of a new product? Would you have been good enough people to sign up for a break in shop?
I mean, that's really hard.
I feel like your shop was one of the bigger ones in the area. Like there was a good number of people, regulars, that would come in. So that's why, I mean, I feel like that's why I'm asking you. I think
it's hard to say, like, because you're trying to look back and figure something out about something that really didn't exist at the time. I think in the early 90s, though, like in the early 90s, the baseball boom, the card boom, like in the Shaquille O'Neal era, there were a ton of customers coming in then. Like, I don't even know now if there are more people collecting than there were in the early 90s, because people that weren't card collectors were buying cards. So I do think like there was a period of time there. If I had, a product with Shaq's rookie and there was such a thing as breaking, I absolutely could have sold breaks in my shop, I think, of Shaquille O'Neal rookies. So, like,
and you would have had to do like random teams or random packs or something. You
kind of lose perspective on how big the hobby actually was, because dollar for dollar is not as big, but the number of customers and the number of packs you sold were so much more in that 91, 92, 93 time period than they are now. So, yeah, I think I probably could have, but like now it has to be tough. And it really makes me sad, because I feel like they know this is going to be hard on the little shops, and
they're still doing it.
They don't care. You look at Fanatics with the hat industry, with the jersey industry, their business model is pretty much to be your only option. And do you think it's going to be different for cards? No, they already have the license. So we were hopeful that they might understand the role that hobby shops play and that people like us like to go in and have a place where we can pick up other cards and not just buy top stuff. But I'm afraid that they're just using their business model for the card industry too. And they're going to be like, well, you buy it from us. That's how it works. And
we're going to choke out anywhere else you could potentially buy it.
Yeah. The thing is, you're not going to 10x the hobby if you're cutting out places like Docks and places like UConn, which you need to have a shop in every not every corner, but at least one shop in every town.
We had two shops in one corner back in our day.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, how are you going to be able to 10x the hobby if you don't have
active places? I'm afraid, in their opinion, they don't necessarily care about me and you and Joe and the people that might want to go root through the cards at the card shop. They look for the person watching the game that they can get to pick up their phone and buy cards while they're watching the game. And if they can get 4 or 5 people to do that for every one of us that they lose, they're still growing the hobby. I am now at the point where I'm afraid that this hobby is going to look completely different. And
do you know who really needs to step up in this whole conversation? And I don't know if they ever will, but the person that needs to step up the most, and it pains me to say this, Ryan from Card Collector 2. He has a massive following. He has a brick and mortar shop, and he is someone who loves to dig through bargain boxes. Like, that's his whole thing. That's the videos he puts on. He has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And he has, it's not a dingy card shop. It's a nice looking card shop, but it has, to me, it has a decent feel to it. It doesn't seem like something I would go in and be like, oh, I can't touch anything kind of feel. So like, if someone like him, but the problem is, I think they made a card of him. I think he's in a Topps product. Like, so is he actually going to, like, someone like that needs to step up, and they won't, because again, they're going to get their distribution. They're going to get their Fanatics, little pat on the head. Here's your Topps products. So
he'll be able to sell it. So,
right. So if he really cared about the hobby, and he really cared about kids being able to go to their local card shop, like, not every kid has a card shop like his or like Burbank, right? Yeah, they're in Danville. They're in Danville, PA, and they want to go to a Divey card shop and buy a couple packs of cards and maybe go through some dollar boxes. If he really cared about the hobby, he would come out and say, this is wrong. You need to be better to local card shops. And he won't.
I mean, Danville's lucky right now because we have UConn, which is pretty close, and the shop in Danville, because there aren't a ton of them around otherwise, right? Like, there's none in Bloom, right?
Yeah, not at all.
Like, yeah, so I mean, like,
until we open our shop. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Dude, don't blow up the spot.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm sad, and I've been way less pro Fanatics lately.
I was gonna say the last couple of pods, we're losing our money, man. How are we gonna buy the special thing we're thinking about buying for giveaways? If you keep talking crap about Fanatics, I mean, come on, man.
I was thinking that we should have something pop up, like a rubber stamp thing pop up and say anti-Fanatics take every time Mike has an anti-Fanatic take. just because it happens so rarely. But
it does happen rarely. The last couple of weeks, though, it's been really, I mean, Ziggy
I'm
would
a little
be proud.
upset
Ziggy, let us know. Are you proud of Mike right now?
Michael Rubin has not sent me a check in like a month, and I'm getting a little pissed. So. All right.
Before we move on, I got one thing I want to say. How bad would it have been in 1999 if there were breaks at Mike's shop? How much money would Joe and EPS
Actually, spend? I might have saved money. Because I bought cases of Dr. Rome. If I could just buy into the same
he bought
spot
cases by the box, though. He didn't buy a case at the time.
That's true. I didn't get any of those case hits that were so prevalent back in 1999.
Wow. Yeah. Didn't get any kabooms, did you?
No kabooms or downtowns in that product.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you guys heard, but CGC CSG had a big announcement this week.
Huge.
Apparently, they are finally combining the CGC non-sports and comic and trading card game cards division with the sports card division, CSG. They're basically nothing is changing from the CSG. If you have that side, literally nothing but the label in the slab is going to change, and that's only really a slight change. But if you have
I want to dig into that a little bit, but.
And if you have trading card games or Marvel cards or anything from the CGC side, you are now going to have the 1 to 10 grading scale instead of 9.5. They're basically doing everything they did when they changed over the grading scale at CSG, and they're doing it on the CGC card side, combining everything. My point is, why the hell did you just not do this back when you made the changes to begin with? That was the right time to do all this, not to do it 2 different times. Like, have all your cards go to one company, one label. Why can we know that? And it took them however long it took.
I did a lot of research on this.
Okay, let's go.
Oh no! All right,
this really.
I was worried because you said you were going to go to sleep when we talked.
I was going to go to sleep, and I'll tell you why. They pumped this announcement up like they were getting bought out by someone, that they were buying someone, that they like something major happened. And I'm like, oh, so one division in the company is merging with the other division in the company. That's your big news. I will say new label. Oh my goodness. I like to me, I was like the way they were building up. If they would have said, hey, we have an announcement coming out next week, stay tuned. They were doing like day by day, like countdowns of it. Like the Rock Card 101 was going up for sale. Like, holy crap. I mean, they were doing like hour by hour. Shh, don't tell anyone. We've got some big news type of
I wonder they didn't have an emergency podcast.
I think they actually did. I think as soon as the news came out, they had an emergency live stream. I will say one benefit, and I stole this from, he's on YouTube, Hobby Hero. I don't know if you guys will watch him. I think he focuses more on the non-sports and TCG side. One good point that he brought up is now you can send everything together, which was, you couldn't do that in the past. So if you had a sports order or if you had a Pokemon order, you couldn't combine those. They wouldn't be in the same order. They wouldn't be sent back the same. So, and if there were any specials or bulk rates, you would kind of get screwed over in that aspect. So if you had 9 sports cards and 1 Pokemon card, you had 2 different orders. Right now you can combine them into one for bulk rate. In terms of the label, the thing, let's talk about the label first, right? So EP kind of made a face too. This is CSG's, which is now again CGC's, but this is now the sports card side's 3rd label since 2021, right? They had the ugly green label, which I didn't have, whatever. They had the ugly green label, right? Then they have this label. And Mike, I know you said it's not that big of a change, but for card collectors who are obsessive compulsive like I am, and I know some other people are, most people are, this is a big change. And they're going to charge you $5. So if you were a collector back in 2021 and said, oh, I really love this CSG grading, I really want to go in and send a bunch of cards, well, you had to pay $5 for each card last year to get the new label. Now, if you're an OCD type collector, you're going to have to pay $5 more to get those new labels to the newest label, because as soon as you send that next card in, it's going to have the newest label, and it's going to make you feel bad about all the old labels that you had. Am I right?
You definitely.
Me, definitely. But I think a lot of people I think more people are like me and want consistency in their stuff than otherwise.
I don't think I'm sending mine in.
If it was the old CSG labels were better. The change to the ones in the middle are better. They're so much better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like 1,000 times better
label. Yeah.
I'm
not going to send in. Not going to.
You're not.
No.
Do you have PC stuff with them though? Like, imagine if you had
a lot
of display PC.
I have a couple Paul Heymans up there. A couple of my finest and stuff. See right there.
Good.
The other issue with the label is from the CGC side of it, is
Joe is going to be happy because it's now going to be CGC, and he doesn't have to try to remember any other acronym.
We were joking about this.
Why you weren't talking about this as your top priority is beyond me.
It's
because
true.
your life just got easier.
It got way simpler. No, now I'll call everything CSGs somehow randomly.
Right.
Which you could never say before.
Right. If I collected CGC stuff, non-sports stuff, TCG, Pokemon stuff, I'd be really upset. This label has been around for a long time. And if they're talking about this, taking the company and making it more, streamlined, make it more, interconnected, cards are the only thing that don't have the universal blue labels now. Mm-hmm. Video games, magazines, comic books all have that universal blue label. So why are they taking the card part out of it and making it different? I have a conspiracy theory that I'll lay on you later, but
I was surprised actually that the new label didn't look like the comic label, like just without something.
Why didn't they just make everything the CGC label? Like if everything else
you were excited that the Marvel cards and stuff were going to have the same label.
I had a bold prediction, Mike. Do you remember this? I said they would overtake the Marvel,
and now you don't have that anymore.
Nope.
So like that blows my mind. Like I feel like we've talked about that many times. As a comic book collector, if you have comic cards, don't you want your label to look like your comic book? That's common sense. But they have to go with a whole new label. Like I was really like over your shoulder there, Joe. I like those labels. They look fine.
Yep.
In some version, maybe not exactly like it, but something that you wouldn't look at your card in your comic and go, why are they two completely different things?
Right. And I will say, Justin from Spidey Hits, I was DMing him a little bit about this. He had a really good live stream that if people have a few hours to kill, go check it out. But like, they're really upset about it because they just started grading comic book cards, just Marvel, about 10 months ago. Mm-hmm. And they got a flood of Marvel cards because people were holding cards knowing that this was coming, right? And some Marvel sets have come out since then, like Spider-Man Metal, Fleer Ultra Avengers, things like that. And they've been holding cards, and then they finally could send them off to CGC to get the same label. And now 10 months later, they're saying, oh, guess what? Those labels are going away, and we're going to have the more sports card-ish looking label for these. They're upset. The Pokemon folks who have been grading with CGC for a long time are really upset too. Yeah. Imagine how much money you could potentially have in slabs that are now obsolete in terms of the label. I mean, I would be really pissed off.
Do you think as time goes on, the Marvel cards that are in the comic
they discuss this
are going to be worth more? Like honestly. 5 years from now, if I want a card to match my comic, I'm going after one of those. I'd pay a premium for it.
So they talked about this on that live stream, and Justin said that he's going to, because it's up until mid-July, I think they switch over. So anything you send now until then, or anything that's already there, is going to be in the old, depending on where you send it, is going to be in the old slab and label. And he said, I'm going to look through my cards right now. I'm going to see if I have stuff to send, because he wants them in the old style label, which I get. And I think, and they talk about this, there will be a premium, which kind of goes against our buy the card, not the slab kind of thing. But I mean, if you're a displayer like I am, like you are, Mike, I mean, you want that commonality, absolutely. Right?
EP, anything to add?
Again, I have so many things to add. I'm going to try to limit myself to a couple things here. First off, marketing people. When you say something's a big deal,
where's your pen?
So when you say something, when you say that a big deal is coming, make a big deal out of it, and then all you're doing is taking two of your divisions in your company and mashing them together, you're going to get groans from us. You're gonna, if anybody on your team thinks this is going to cause groans, pay attention to those people, because it's going to happen. Obviously, there are a number of things that are going on here that are a big deal, but not in the big deal the way that you are making it out to be. It ends up like a negative thing, in my opinion. Yeah. When I first saw the CGC slabs, the ones that behind Joe there on his comic cards, I saw them in a Pokemon break, and I'm like, oh my god, they're amazing. But you couldn't get your sports cards graded through them. Like you had to send to CSG. And at that time, the CSG had those vomit colored labels, which I didn't like. So I loved the CGC labels. I loved the new CSG labels. And now we've got a combination that the font on it, that everything about it, I just don't
very
like.
cluttered too.
Yeah,
they put the barcode on the front. It's very cluttered.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good to me. And then, I mean, I've there's no part of me that's going to use this company now. Where before, like I like the CSG slabs, like the CGC slabs, but I don't like any other stuff, and that's really disappointing. I don't know if we're going to get into it, Mike, but they did say that. I did see something where they're going to now be like the number 2 grading company because of combining these two things allegedly into one thing. So the numbers are going to be.
They've already been graded, like volume wise. The combined company is already number 2, right?
Yeah. So here's the Gem Mint data, right?
Yeah.
They were number 2. Like, who didn't think they were number 2? Like, I that's why I'm so confused about why they
number
had
2
that was like
in volume that they grade. Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't know why they made that a big part of their announcement. Another thing in terms of like the grading scale and the label, they're not offering subgrades. And I see a lot of people saying, well, they put out an announcement, only 5% of the cards submitted requested subgrades, so it didn't make sense. First point is you're already doing the subgrade, so I don't know why you just don't offer them. Like, you would think that as you're grading a card, you're doing the subgrades, right? The second point is, do you know how much they charge for subgrades? $15.
What? Get out of here.
Wow.
Beckett charges $5. And we think that's ridiculous, because it's like you're doing the work anyway. What's the ink? The cost of the ink is all it should be. It shouldn't be anything else. But yeah, that the YouTube channel I referenced earlier, Hobby Talk or whatever, he basically said that as well. It's like you're paying double what you would normally pay just to grade a card to get the subgrades. So no wonder only 5% were requesting subgrades. Who's paying double what the cost of just the grading fee is to do subgrades? So I totally get it. It's just unbelievable to me that they would charge that much for something that seems so simple. So maybe if they only charge $5, what percentage do you think that number would go up to? Right? At least double that.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is I listed a bunch of CSG cards yesterday, and I put CSG/CGC, so right. I don't have to change them going forward. So,
well,
think about it if you're listing money.
Yeah. The one thing we should mention too is if you have a 9.5 gem mint, you can send that in to get a 10, and that's something we kind of glossed over. It's just going to have the effect is more 10s, which again, that's they're knowingly doing that. They're putting more slabs with 10s out there on purpose.
Well, there's a number of gem mint though. It's not really.
Does anyone look at the name? Does anyone look at the actual words underneath that? If they did, Beckett 9.5s would be worth as much as PSA 10s. No one.
I know, but like you're not like I feel like what you said is like makes it seem nefarious that they're like making cards.
No, it's not it's not nefarious. Yeah. It is tricking people into thinking that card is better than it was.
Isn't
because they're putting a 10 on. Well,
but
maybe it is nefarious. Maybe it is nefarious.
I don't know how they're tricking when they're just saying, okay, this card was gem mint and now it's still gem mint. I just putting it at
really. You don't think people look at a 9.5 gem mint and think a 10 gem mint is better? Come on, people. We were going to make a whole grading company called Only 10s.
Yeah, I know, like that. But I don't feel like if somebody's looking at the CGC 10, they're going to think it's better than what the 9.5 was because it's not PSA.
I completely disagree. I think if someone looks at a CGC 10 and a CGC 9.5 in the old label, I think their mind is going to tell them that the 10 is better.
Well, all I know is when I was listing everything yesterday, I was like, okay, what price can I get out of this that I want, that somebody who wants to buy this and crack it and send it to PSA is willing to pay?
That kind of proves the point, doesn't it? That's proving the point.
No, that's proving my point, because I'm saying they don't care about the 10 in the CSG label. They only care about it in the PSA.
But I'm saying you can take that and turn it into a 10.
EP's on my side on this.
No, EP's definitely on my side.
this isn't quite there, but I love it when you guys start arguing about apples and oranges.
It doesn't make any sense.
We're not quite here, but when you guys are arguing about two different things, it's amazing. We're not quite at that point, but it's good.
So
it's
definitely.
definitely.
I'll ask the question to EP.
Okay, all right, go ahead. What's
Do
up?
you think people, when they see two cards next to each other and see a 9 point from the same company and see a 9.5 and a 10, what do you think? And they both say Gem Mint. What do you think they think is better?
I was about to say something. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. There are a lot of collectors who have monkey brains, and all they think about is, I just want the 10. Like they have like very, very simple brains. Like the 10 is a higher number than a 9.5, so 10 is better card. But I see what Mike is talking about. He's saying they don't care about the CSG 10 or the CSG 9.5. They care about cracking it out and sending it to PSA. So he's talking about how much he can get for it, so the other person can buy it and still think that they can submit it to PSA and hopefully get it.
So EP agrees with both of us. That was not helpful at all.
You guys are both the best.
I love as much as I enjoy the debate back and forth, we're over an hour into this already, and we still have one more topic. So, let's get to the next one. I don't know if you guys watch the Dan the Cardman videos, but go check out his channel if you don't. He's fantastic. I just love his videos. Great stuff on there. He had a video earlier this week about a breaker called Pull Bangers, I guess, and they had a break and they pulled I apologize if I didn't say the name right, but it sounds like a poor.
I think you said it right, but it's not great.
Nope.
Not great. But anyway, moving on. He pulled a Lamar Jackson 2018 National Treasure Rookie Materials 1-of-1 EP.
We broke EP.
We did. NFL Shield autograph card.
Somebody put a lot of effort into that name. They're thinking long and hard about that name.
I thought that was really cool. I'm sorry. They could be great people. Might be a great breaker, but they still sound like a porn site. So he pulled the Lamar Jackson 2018 National Treasure Rookie Material 1-of-1 NFL Shield. Only problem is there was one recently that sold on PWCC that was graded by BGS that was the same exact card. As if that's not bad enough. Joe, you sent me a text the other day about Dan the Cardman's video. I'm like, yeah, I talked about that yesterday, idiot.
Yeah.
You're like, no,
I sent a screenshot of the text thread. Yeah.
I honestly sent it somewhat ambiguously so I could get Mike to.
That's such a Joe thing. Yes.
Yeah. Like, come on, Mike. Come at me.
But they also found that there was a 2018 National Treasures Tremendous Treasures 1-of-1 Shield auto of Lamar Jackson that there are also 2 copies of. The shields look a little bit different on both of the cards, but like they're kind of matching on the 2 different cards. Like I would say, the 2 different cards, one of the shields looks right, and the other ones, like they both kind of match, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So what's happening here? Did Panini release 2 of them? Did something leave out the back door? Is something a fake? The second card, one was graded by PSA and authenticated. One was graded and authenticated.
No, I think they were both Beckett's.
BGS.
They're both Beckett's. I think they're both Beckett's.
No, the second one is one's a PSA and one's a BGS. Just watch the video this morning. Beckett did
maybe there's
the
a third
first
or fourth
one. Yeah, there might be. But why are we seeing 2 of the same cards? Yeah. Like 2 different 1-of-1s out of the same product that have duplicate versions of it out there. What is going on?
Joe, go ahead. I've got tangents again.
Oh, jeez. So this kind of throws a little bit of my theory out the door. If it was PSA, I really thought it was 2 Beckett's, an 8.5 and a 9.5. The Dan's argument is a couple of things. Like either something's going out the back door, or people are patch swapping, which again, my theory was thinking they were both Beckett, is that they had an issue with the LeBron exquisite rookie card that they graded and authenticated, where someone took a kind of a blob patch and put in a fake patch to make it look better, because again, people care about things like that. Right. So I don't know. I think it's potentially people found cards that were potential replacement cards, and they took them out the back door and sold.
One of the theories was that it could have been the laundry tag version.
And they pulled the laundry tag
because the shield would be worth more.
Right.
But
kind of the same thing as the LeBron Exquisite. It's like they took out a blob patch and put in, I don't know, 101 laundry tag versus a 101 shield. I'm sure there is a price difference, but to risk destroying the card for that, you've got to be really good at what you do to take that chance.
I don't know what information he has, but I was reading in the comments of the second video about the second card, and like he was replying to a lot of people that said that his recent information he's found leads him to believe that Panini just released 2 of each of the card. So I don't have any update on what that meant. I'm sure he'll have a follow-up video soon with that. But I mean, EP, what's going on? Let me know. I can't figure it out in my dumb little brain here.
No, you don't have one of those the brains I was talking about earlier. You're good.
Monkey brain.
Yeah, monkey brain. I mean, just okay. Well,
so discouraging the monkeys on this podcast.
You know what? Monkeys are smarter than some collectors.
We are.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyhow, like when I saw this, when I think Mike was the first one to send a text about this, or the first time I saw anything about it, and I thought to myself, of course this happened. There was no part of me that was shocked. I was not outraged either. I was a little bit like groaned, a little upset. But we have been every week, we are getting more and more evidence of this crap going on by card companies. You know, what was it? Did they release extra ones? Probably. How many 1-of-1s they have in products now? When were they doing it before? They were probably doing it before. Who knows? But how much unopened product is there out there? So like I just feel like I'm not at all surprised. I feel a little bit outraged right now. I'm a little bit outraged at what they're doing, but also at the same time, like this has been happening so frequently that I'm not as upset as I probably should be, just because, like, of course there's 2 Lamar Jackson 1-of-1 rookie cards. Of course there are, all these cards, and I don't care. I don't care if it's them releasing extra ones, or if somebody walked out the back door with it, or if somebody did a fake one. Like the outrage, I guess, is what is going on in the hobby in general. That all of these things are potential options in this hobby that we, the 3 of us, love so much. Like that is happening. Like that's my soapbox. I'm getting down. I'm sorry about that.
And let me throw one thing in here quick too. Not only that, but a reason I feel like maybe Panini are releasing it is I saw on Twitter somebody holding up their Trey McBride playbook 2022 Panini playbook booklet. Had it holding it up in the picture with a picture in the background of one on eBay. They're both 1-of-1s of the same card, and they were different cards because the patches were clearly different in it. And the guy's holding up his card with the eBay in the background of the same card. So I could see where maybe somebody was trying to get Lamar Jackson out. Who's getting Trey McBride out? Like,
right.
That doesn't seem like a card somebody would fake from playbook, come on.
Right.
So like I'm leaning toward the Panini just has terrible quality control. Maybe they made 2 to have a backup and just released them all, another mistake like all the other ones. Right. But
yeah,
Joe, come on, explain it to me.
Well, I would say this is why I think it's beyond just bad quality control. I think they have just multiple 1-of-1s of things in the product. I mean, if you think about it, would we even be talking about this if that Lamar Jackson wasn't up on PWCC just a few weeks ago at this point? Like, it just went up on auction, the 8.5 from the first wave of this that kind of, then one was pulled. And I actually saw the pool. I was watching If Sports Cards, who does like the top 10 pools of the week. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ironically, the breaker, what was his name again, Mike? I refuse to say it. My grandmother would not like me saying this name.
It's Pull Bangers.
Pull Bangers, yeah.
Not
apparently,
Apparently, it doesn't matter. They're both not POLE.
I'm sorry.
Bangers.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pullbanger. I'm sorry, Mr. Pullbanger, laughing at your name, but
apparently, when he pull banged this, it was he called out Josh Allen. Did you guys catch that? When he pulled the card, he's like, "Oh, Josh Allen, 1-of-1 shield." I'm like, "Well, that's Lamar Jackson." And then the kid from who does the If Sports Cards was like, "He obviously meant Lamar Jackson." But here's the problem with that. Here's the Lamar Jackson. The only thing that's throwing kind of a hitch in the giddy up here about Panini doing this is the different shields, right? That's the thing that makes me think it's not just Panini, that there's some other third party or some other bad actor that's doing something, because when they have very similar patches if they were Panini putting stuff in the product, putting extra stuff in the product. I will say this,
although
one last point.
Both of the second ones being the same kind of shield too, maybe. I'm not saying, but like if they sourced one from like maybe a hat or a jersey or like different places, maybe.
And I will say, Dan had said, have you ever seen a jersey that looks like this? And I actually have. Like when they cut the whole collar out and they have the pieces of the collar, the second what was graded by the grading company that wasn't pulled recently, that had that. And I'm like, I saw that on like a Jordan Love recently, 101 shield. So like I've definitely seen shields like that before with the collars in the background, because I thought to myself, oh, that actually looks pretty cool. It's like a piece of the net, it's like that whole piece of jersey. So yeah, you might be right, Mike. It might be just sourced from a different part of the jersey. Or again, it's Panini just making things up and saying, oh, hey, there's 35 101s in this thing. This 101 is from this part of the jersey. This 101 is from this part of the jersey. This 101 is from this part of the jersey. Maybe. I mean, would you be shocked by that at all?
Not shocked by anything.
Just put one of one in quotes now for at all times.
Yeah.
Just one of one is in quotes, because it's not there. No
one
ones left.
Quotes perfectly fine. No legal ramifications.
Yeah.
And in Pull Banger's defense, yelling out the wrong name at that climactic moment, it happens to all of us, right? So yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I think that's probably about enough for this week.
We can't stop yet. We think about the Idiot of the Week award. Look at the candidates we have available to us.
Okay,
this week.
Which one of these stories that we talked about?
We need emotion.
I think Topps is the Idiot of the Week.
I'm a little salty. I got extra salt this week. I apologize to all of our viewers about the extra salt. So
salt, extra mustard on everything today.
Extra salt. Oh man, there are a lot.
Yeah, I'll motion for Topps. I think Topps is.
We're gonna extend the video a half hour as EP thinks about which one is the worst.
No,
Topps had 3 bad stories this week. Yeah. Though Panini had 3, but they were all the same story.
And it really doesn't matter what you think, EP, because you're already outvoted. So Topps
Dang it again. Topps has it. Always, every time.
Always.
Fanatics is the Idiot of the Week.
All right. I think it's time to let these good people go. We've been talking to them long enough. So,
supersized.
Yes, it was a very long podcast, but we had a lot to get to, and hopefully we've enlightened a lot of you. Other than that,
we're entertained at least.
See you next week. Take care, guys.
Ya monkey brains.
Adios.
See you.